Good morning. I'm Melanie Williams. I'm the Chair of the Operations and Safety Committee for the year 2021. Welcome to the January 24th, 2022 Operations and Safety Committee meeting. The meeting format is hybrid. Quorum is physically present at the HART Administrative Office, 1201 East 7th Avenue, Florida Conference Room, and the rest of the board members are participating via communication media technology. Please look at your screens of your devices. An image of a flag is displayed, and please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Jackson, will you take the roll call, please?
Absolutely. Director Kemp? Here. Director Knight? Director Schisler?
Here.
Committee Chair Williams?
Yes, here.
And also on the line, I believe we have Commissioner Overman, or Director Overman. You do have a quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you. The rules for participation and roles and responsibilities for the committee are provided in the packet. And we'll next move to our public comment, 3 minutes per speaker. Do we have anyone signed up for public, pre-registered for public comment this morning?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. This concludes the public input section of the meeting. Our first business is election of the chair and vice chair for the calendar year 2021.
Thank you. If I could just first say.
I think this is 2022. I want to just change it.
Sounded right to me. If I could just make a statement before we proceed forward. The constitution of this board is going to change probably at the next meeting due to appointments by the chair of the HART Board of Directors. That being said, we're obligated by our rules of procedure to go ahead and have these elections today. What we'll go ahead and do is at the next meeting in February, if any of the members change, we'll go ahead and either reaffirm these appointments, or alternatively, if we need to change them around, we can do that at that meeting. But in order to follow our rules, we need to go ahead and do the election today.
Okay, thank you.
If I could go ahead and call for nominations for chair of this committee.
I would like to nominate Melanie Williams to continue.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Seeing no other nominations, I'll ask for a roll call vote to appoint Board Member Williams to as chair of the Operation and Safety Committee.
Committee Member Kemp?
Yes.
Committee Member Schisler?
Yes.
Committee Chair Williams?
Yes,
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously.
thank you.
Thank you. I'll also at this point seek nominations for vice chair of the Operation and Safety Committee.
Just to let you know, I cannot hear anyone.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Gil Schisler for vice chair.
Are there any other nominations for vice chair of Operation and Safety Committee? Seeing no other nominations, I'll ask for a roll call vote to appoint Councilmember Schisler as vice chair of the Operation and Safety Committee.
Committee Member Kemp?
Yes.
Committee Member Schisler?
Yes.
Committee Chair Williams?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Is, just point of order, Commissioner Overman, could she hear? Did you call on her?
Well, yeah, I don't know if she can hear or not.
I can now hear you.
Okay.
The boardroom audio was actually turned off, so I could not hear you until just now, but thank you very much. And yes, the vote is yes.
I will say that she has not officially been appointed to this board, but her input is always welcome.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
No, I'm actually on the list as a member.
Yes.
I think the list that is, I'll have Danielle to confirm this. The list that's on the agenda is the new list, not the list as it is constituted today, is my understanding. Is that correct?
Yes.
So this will be the list, assuming that all the appointments are validated by Chair Kemp, will be the list starting for February meeting.
Understood, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, just for record's purposes, we would recount or vote again in February?
We will, in February, I'll ask for an affirmation of the vote that is taken today when the board is constituted in February, and if there's any changes that are necessary, that could occur at that time.
Okay.
But at this point, we'll go ahead and proceed forward under the committee as it constituted as of today, and then we'll deal with it. And I know it's a little confusing, it's just the way our rules of procedure are drafted. We need to proceed this way.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to our joint strategic and planning. This is not a joint meeting, right? This is operations and safety, so please excuse me. We're going to move on to our presentation. And on number 5, operations and maintenance monthly metrics report. Mr. Stephen Fields, you'll present to us today.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning.
Members, CEO. My name is Stephen Fields. I'll be presenting the operations, maintenance, and matrix report for the month of December and November of 2021. Ridership for November, we topped out at 726,305. Bi-weekly, first week, we did 155,000. Second and third week, we did around 170,000. And the fourth week, 166,588. And 3 days of the last month, we did 64,020. Going into the month of December, we increased that by 12,000 new riders to 738,876,000. That 90,000 carryover from a short week from November to December. And second and third week, 174,000, 171,000. And fourth week, 144,000. And the fifth week, 141,000. And we're looking at that, it dropped down because more people stayed at home during that time of the month, because I think we had a lot of outbreak of COVID from our customers, so they did not ride during the last 2 weeks of the month. Our on-time performance goal. Our HART goal is 85%, the standard is 77. For the month of November, we did 80% on-time performance. As our peers from PSTA did 69, JTA did 76, PalmTran 75. In the month of December, our goal is still the same with the standard of 77. We decreased by 2%. Our peers also went down. PSTA went up 1% to 70, JTA dropped 2%, and PalmTran dropped 5%. December on-time performance by route. As you see here, the route 10 and 14 that we've been talking about, we're working on those to make sure that those routes get above the industry standard. We also had numerous routes that perform above industry standard, which gave us a positive outcome that we're looking forward to make sure that our customers are being able to get to their destination on time. December missed trips. So the month of November, we did 43,233,000 trips with a 0.13% as in missed trips. In December, we did over 44,000 trips with a missed trip of 0.27%. And as you see, it goes on to mechanical failures, operator shortage, and others, and bios. For this month, we had a total of 7 bios on there for the buses only. December fleet availability. This is for the AM, for the fixed route. The industry standard is right about 80%. And you see, we fell a little below that on some of the days of the month, but we're increasing that to make sure that our buses are getting out on time so our customers are able to get to their destination. November, December fleet cleanliness. We do a deep clean every 45 days. Our goal is 95%. For the month of November, we did 188 deep cleaning that was scheduled, and we did 96% in compliance. In the month of December, 183 scheduled deep cleaning, and we got 92% of the fleet that was clean. Daily sanitation for the month of November, we total sanitized 4,422 vehicles. For buses, we did 3,122, and for vans, we did 1,300. For the month of December, our number increased because we received more buses, and more buses was able to go back in service. Did a total of 4,642. For buses, 3,200, and for the vans, around 1,400. In the biohazards, in the month of November, we had 16, and the month of December had 21. In the previous slide, it said it only had 7, but that is on buses. Our vans are not included on that for bio, so that those other numbers are on vans that we pick up our customers on that had biohazard, so that number don't throw you off. Bus accidents analogy for November and December of 2019, 2020, and 2021. We looked at it and saw a trend that we're looking at as in trending toward the best that we're doing. If you look for fixed route, as in for the month of November, fixed route, we had 12 fixed object mirrors, and 19 went down to 10, and then in 21, we did 8. That has contributed to our safety department, training our operators to make sure that they're doing the right thing. POV strikes our vehicle. We have no liability as in that. They hit us, we don't hit them. So that went up for some reason in the month of November of this year. We had more people hit us than normal. POV rear end, we had 3 that rear-ended us. As I said, more people hitting us. The buses are big. We have flashing lights that's on the back to let them know. Our operators are doing all the safety precautions they're supposed to do by having their 4-ways on to make sure that while at a bus stop, that the cars behind them know that they're at a stop. HART hit POV, that went up to, actually went down from the month of, from 20 to 21. And then, and HART rear-end POV, we had 1 for the month, November. For December, again, fixed objects mirrors, from 19, we did 16, and the trend's going down to 7. And again, POV strike HART, we had 15 and 19, and we got that down to 3. So we're doing a lot better as in how buses look to our other vehicles out there. And POV rear-ended buses from 4 to 1 to 3. And then HART hit POVs, that went down to 2 from the previous year to 3. And HART rear-end POVs, and it's mostly they're sitting at a stop in a car pulled in front of us as it was rolling out. So we had 1 that really hit, that actually got hit by the bus. Van accidents. And it's just similar to the buses. On the van accidents, it's trending a little up. And that's from fixed object mirrors. They mirrors stick out a little further than on the buses, and it's more of them hitting mailboxes or poles when they pull into a place to pick up their customers. POV strike HART, it was 0. POV rear-end HART is 0. And HART hit POV and HART rear-end POV for the vans for the last 3 years is 0s across the board, which is outstanding. For the month of December, fixed object mirrors for the last 3 years, we've been looking at 3. POV strike HART, we went from 3 down to 0, and POV rear-end HART is at 0 from 1 from last year. And HART hit POV, we had 1 this year, and HART rear-end POVs, we went to 0, which is great on our training department that's in training operators how to maneuver and not have accidents. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Fields. Anyone have any questions at this time? Mr. Schisler, you're
Yes,
recognized.
thank you. Good report. Thank you very much. Good improvement. Everything's, our drivers are safer and our customers are safer. Does this include streetcars also?
No, sir, it's just fixed route buses and
Just fixed route
vans.
and other. Okay. Should we be looking at those, or how is that reported back?
It is
If
being
any.
looked at, another department take care of the streetcar stuff, but we do look at those numbers also to compare against vans and buses and streetcars.
Okay. Should we be reporting those also?
If I may, Madam Chair?
Yes, please.
That is a great question, and we can definitely include that information. What's happened in the past, since the streetcar has its own board, they have been presenting that data at the streetcar board meetings, but we will, moving forward, include the streetcar operation statistics with our overall operation statistics. Great question, and it's something that we should have
Cool.
caught earlier.
Thank you. Otherwise, good report. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Camp, you're recognized.
Thank you. I just want to say I really like the new kind of graphing and something like the report of the mechanical failure, operator shortage, others we've never seen before that I know of. So that makes it really clear and is really helpful. I've also, just interesting to just see our peers, PSTA, JTA, Palmtran, to have those listed there is informative too, and never saw that before. So I just wanted to comment on that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. I'd like to comment, Mr. Fields, this is a very good overview and update. And I'd start with page 7, where you talked about fleet cleanliness. And I work in an industry where we have to clean a lot of vehicles as well. And for you to continue to be able to keep the vehicles clean at the rate that you're doing that, this is just focus and commitment. So I wanted to call that out because that seems like a little thing on the slide, but it is a big effort to keep everyone well and making sure they're operating with safe conditions. So thank you for that.
Thank you,
If you could share that with your team.
Definitely will.
Thank you. Page 8, I noted there were, do we, in the training, do we have any kind of training that people, even though they're not at fault, but maybe they could just learn how to avoid accidents? Do we have any avoidance training?
Yes, ma'am, we do, any accident they have, they do go through a retraining process, and every quarter we go through a retraining process for all operators.
Okay. And then the last question I have is, I noticed that the buses or vans are typically hit versus the bus or van hitting somewhere else. Is there any messaging on the back of the van, for example, that would say carrying people, please stay back, or I stop on regular stops for every few moments? I'm sure others in marketing can probably determine what the messaging should be, but typically when I see that and I'm following someone, I'm even extra careful as a result of seeing that. So I was wondering if we had anything that could deter folks and they see it as they're behind the bus.
Yes, ma'am, there are extra flashing lights. They're on the bus. Normally, on your vehicle, there are only 3 brake lights. We have a total of 6 to 8 lights that flash, like almost at a train crossing, that flash off and on both sides. That gives the vehicle behind us, let them know that we're coming to a stop, and also the operators put on their hazard lights when they're coming to a stop that are yellow, that flashes also. So you have yellow lights and red lights that are flashing to let them know that the bus is coming to a stop.
Okay.
And on the bus, it does have on the side that this bus do frequently stop. It's on the left-hand rear side of the bus.
Okay, I was thinking something like, we're carrying passengers, 50 people on this bus, please be careful, or, please don't get as close as so many feet, or, I see things on trucks all the time. So I was wondering if we could be more overt about the advertising or messaging. So since we have so many incidences of someone hitting the vehicle, and we've done a really good job, you have done a really good job, and our bus drivers have done a really good job at not hitting other vehicles.
Yes, I'll give it our marketing team and see what we can come up with to get something like that done.
Okay, it's just a suggestion. I'm not the expert. I just think that I pay attention when I'm driving behind someone that says baby on board.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Schisler, you're recognized, please.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Just one more thing. I believe in previous reports, there was discussions on incidents on the bus, considering safety for the drivers and the operators. I don't see anything on that unless I missed it. And I believe that was one of the reasons why we created the group anyway, is to monitor what was going on with the buses and the operations, and how has that been progressing through the end of the last few months of COVID and where we stand now.
Yes, we have implemented a program so that we were able to gather that data from incidents on the bus, and we will be presenting that at our next meeting to show the incidents that happened on the bus during that time.
Okay, we want our operators and employees to know that we recognize that their safety is paramount, and that'd be good to get that information for us, so that if there's something that needs to be done, we could give you the tools and assets to do it with. Thank you.
Thank you. I do not see any hands raised on the hybrid version, but I will turn to you, Ms. LeGrand, for your notes and comments, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to point out a couple of things, especially coming out of the previous meeting. Some of you may have participated on the meeting with what was strategic planning, when we were talking about our service evaluation. So on slide number 4, when we're looking at on-time performance, we track that on a daily basis, and Mr. Field and his team, they gather the information to make sure that we're all aware of, what is going on with our on-time performance. Danielle, if you don't mind putting up the slide, it says the on-time performance with the chart. On my screen, it says 4, but I don't know what it is up there. It's the one with the lines. It says December OTP by route. It's the one after this one. Yes, thank you. So if you look on this slide, there's several routes that fall below the industry standard line. And we need to work, and we are working to understand why we're having these challenges for these specific routes, and implementing a sustainable plan to make the corrections so that these routes are not falling below the industry standard. I mean, primarily what we want is for all of our routes to hit our HART goal, which is 85%. But we definitely would like our routes to all be within the industry standard level. So, that's the thing with, numbers and averages, right? So if we only present to you our average on-time performance and we say it's 78% or 80%, it seems like, you don't recognize what the challenges are. So that's why it's important for us to show this slide in this manner, not just sharing with you the overall on-time performance average, to let you see that we do have challenge areas that we must address, because we have passengers, if you're on a route 14 and you have 49% on-time performance, that's terrible, right? So we need to acknowledge that we recognize that it's terrible, and we're working on fixing it. And that's some of the work that Tim and his team is going to do with the COA contract, is really look at, as he mentioned in the previous meeting, our areas where we need some immediate attention, and what do we do to make those immediate improvements, as well as looking at the entire system. So I did want to point that out. Another item I wanted to share was the very next slide, at least on my screen. Okay. And when we look at the missed trips, the way we delve into the data, and Commissioner Kemp, you touched on that, we look at four different categories. In the past, a year ago, 6 months ago, the operator category was all over the map, right? Or the chart, rather. What you're seeing here is the good work of Mr. Fields and his team in transportation, of really understanding how we balance our operators, helping people to understand the value of coming to work, improving our attendance protocols, reducing the required overtime. We were requiring, I guess, Mr. Fields, you said in some cases, folks had to work, many days without a break, because we were requiring people to work overtime because we didn't have the right resources. So we made the adjustments so that people could have a better quality of life, work-life balance. And then we saw an uptick in people coming to work and a downtick on attendance problems. So I wanted to point this out here, that these numbers, they also are reflective of people, rolling up their sleeves to tackle the various categories. For mechanical failures, the team is working on that as well to really delve into what are the challenges, where are the failures, what type of failures, is it the same vehicle multiple times? So that is some analysis that we continue to do. But the good news is that, if you look at this chart, the areas that we can control, there are opportunities for us to make improvements, and I see that as a positive. If most of our issues were areas that we could not control, we'd have a different conversation. But, mechanical failures right now, that's an area that we can control, so we can get those gray boxes down. And then the last area would be the accidents. And, Director Williams, you mentioned a clear point. We have to look at other mechanisms, other techniques to help with people recognizing that there's a big bus in front of them, as well as helping our operators to understand that there are tools that you can use while you're operating to ensure people see you. And, there's a whole system. Mr. Fields and I are familiar with the Smith system of driving and really looking at a way to implement that here at the organization so people are aware of their surroundings and helping them to not have someone hit them, if you will. So I just wanted to point those out to you today, especially coming after the previous meeting. And then the very next slide, and this will be the last one in my comments, is the fleet availability. And this again goes to resources. So yes, our goal is to have an available fleet goal of 85%. The industry standard is 80%. But we really want to make sure, going back to the mechanical failures, that in order for us to be able to provide reliable service, we have to have a fleet that's available to go out into the community. And the purpose of this slide and showing it in this manner is to share with you, and you see the dates at the bottom of the slide, how we've been looking at our challenges, where we're doing really well, and the fact that we are monitoring this on a daily basis to ensure that we have a better handle on the availability of our fleet. We're bringing in new vehicles, we're cycling old vehicles out, and then really understanding, where we need to make some improvements. And in some situations, there are issues with the vehicles because of the manufacturer. So we have to engage in making sure that we're on top of what these challenges are before they get out of warranty and those things. So just wanted to point it out. The team is doing a lot of great work. They're delving into the data. I don't think they thought that their jobs would include doing so much data analysis, but it's been a year of really rolling up our sleeves, and I feel really good with the progress that we've made. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Mr. Schitzler?
Yes, I have a follow-up question. Thank you, Mr. Grant. Regarding the slide on the on-time performance, what type of root causes are attributed to the 49%, for example? What's causing that? Is it construction? Is it?
That's a great question. I will let Mr. Fields, because I'm sure he has all the answers for that specifically.
So yes, that is a great question, and it is some with traffic. On that corridor, they're doing a lot of redevelopment in there, and we had a little guy that was flagging, and when they flag us to stop and go, we got to stop and wait for them, and also some of the customers, as in having their money ready when it's time to get on the bus. So it's mostly traffic that we're dealing with.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you.
So, for example, in a situation where we know there's a corridor where there's a lot of construction, so what we need to now look at is the schedule that we have presented to the public an accurate schedule based on the type of delays that we know are in the system. So in the business, you can have a schedule that's based on, detours or delays, and you can put that out there, even if we know it's just going to be a 6-month engagement, they're repaving the street or something like that. We can put that out and change the schedule without having to do a complete markup, but then the customers know that your time points are changing, and it's more manageable. You know when you're going to get to your destination. So those are some of the analyses that we have to do on these routes that are falling below the 77%. And especially those who are well below, because that is not, what HART's brand is about. We need to provide better service than that.
If I may, I'd like to comment that there's been a significant improvement in communications by HART on social media and so forth, that when these situations do occur, the detour here, the Bucks games, for the hockey, whatever it is, there's been great communication, and getting the message out as efficiently as you can. That I think has been a significant improvement, and I don't know about the others. When I see it, I share it, and I think that we all need to contribute to that effort. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Kemp, you're recognized.
I just like to also thank Ms. LeGrand for, I think, just refreshing. I know we've all had some going through this, but I think it's really good, and for me, again, and the public, to see this. And as Councilman Schisler said, I had kind of the same question in mind, which you addressed, but those routes, I guess, are specifically from downtown to the airport and then Armenia Avenue. And downtown to the airport, it travels on I know that some travel on Kennedy, but that's in particular, what route does that travel on?
Route 10 is the one that.
Right, but it goes on, the interstate, Cypress, what?
Cypress. It's mostly on Cypress, and what's up with that one is that it runs into what we call, as in the run-in time. Our run-in time is a little off on there, so we're adjusting our times to make sure that that bus is able to meet those times that's on the schedule for our customers. So we've been looking at that and getting on the bus, riding with operators, talking to the customers, reaching out to them to see how can we improve this service to get to the airport and back to downtown. And we're working with the contractor to make sure that that particular route is one that we do change and look at very heavily to make it on time.
That's great. It's really interesting to have the specific routes, to know that about the specific routes. So this is just very good in regards to that. And two, I'd heard with the service drops, or the, that part of the issue when you go back to that was, I heard, drivers aren't available, buses, so to have this breakdown so specific and to understand, how that all works, just excellent to get that very, very specific information.
Thank you. Any other comments? I do not see any other raised hands. Mr. Fields, thank you for your update. We appreciate the work you're doing and with your team. Good job.
Thank you, Madam.
You're welcome. I do need to move back to approval of minutes. In section 4 of the packet, you will see the minutes from Joint Strategic Planning and External Relations, Operations and Safety, and Finance Audit Committee hybrid meeting, November 15, 2021. Is there a motion to?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Kemp, second by Councilman Schisler. Ms. Jackson, will you please take roll?
Committeemember Kemp?
Yes.
Committeemember Schisler?
Yes.
Committee Chair Williams?
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're moving on to old business. Is there any old business? Okay. Is there any new business? Okay, hearing none, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.